Today I want to talk about the recent events that are happening in Ferguson, Missouri. Now, if you haven't been on social media or you haven't been watching the news lately, basically there was a shooting death of an unarmed teenager by the name of Michael Brown at the hands of a Ferguson, Missouri police officer by the name of Darren Wilson. And the reason there's been so much public outcry is due to the dispute over what happened during the events leading up to the shooting. And on one side, people are saying that Michael Brown had his hands up and he was shot in cold blood by a police officer. And then on the other side, they're saying that the police officer was justified because he was running towards the police officer and trying to attack him. Now, in this video, I don't want to give you guys my personal opinion on the incident because, to be honest with you, I'm still siphoning through the information. There's still so much, stuff that I'm trying to understand and figure out. And I don't want to just jump to conclusions and make a statement on it without fully understanding everything that happened. I have been reading quite a bit about this incident. But what I do want to talk about in this video is how you can prevent such uncertainty from happening again. And in a lot of these cases, it always tends to boil down to he said, she said, and a lot of the information revolving around police shootings is always it's always a lot of uncertainty. And it's mainly due to the fact because a lot of the police officers in this country, or for the most part, most of them are not equipped with frontal cameras on their person. And I think, and actually that's what I want to get into. I want to get into talking about is that I think every single police officer in this country should be equipped with a body cam, where they put it on their uniform and they wear it every time they are arresting someone or they're responding to an incident. So if a person who says that the police was acting improper and they did something to them that would be unacceptable or they were abusing their authority, then they would have it on camera, and then they would have the recordings of what happened as well, so you understand the context of the situation. And also, I even think we should go as far as to equipping every police officer's vehicle with a camera that not only, a lot of them do have the frontal dash cams, but they should also have a camera that every time they get out of their car in response to a situation, that the camera pops out of their hood, or not their hood, but the top part of their car on the hood or whatever, and then it focuses on the officer and a couple feet away from the officer, but it focuses in the direction of the officer, so then you can see the full context and scope of what's happening. And people will say, well, where are they supposed to get this money from? That same question can be asked for where a lot of these police departments are able to get tanks, and I think that's a whole entire another problem within itself, is that a lot of these police departments are becoming militarized, where a lot of the weapons and tanks and all that stuff that was left over from the Iraq and Afghanistan war, a lot of the police departments in this country are being able to procure tanks, personnel carriers, assault rifles, and you see a lot of cases where they respond to maybe a guy who refuses to cut his grass, and they come knocking on his door with a full tactical SWAT team with a battering ram on an armed personnel vehicle. But back to this story, I just think that police officers need to be held accountable in all situations, and I'm not gonna. I don't want to jump to conclusions on this case because like I said earlier, there's just still so much information that I'm trying to understand. I'm still trying to understand the autopsy reports. But when I do have a solid opinion of what's going on, or of the case, then I will make another video discussing that. Also, in closing, I also want to talk about the protesting and the rioting. Now, I want to address this because as a citizen of the United States of America, I think that every citizen in this country has the right to protest, regardless of what their ideology is, regardless of what they stand for. They have a right to protest if they feel so and they think it's necessary. But I think that anytime you want to protest, you need to go through the proper channels. You need to do it legally and peacefully. If you want to march down a street or block off a major, intersection, then you need to go to the city government or whatever and have them, block off the traffic so they can plan ahead to say, oh, look, if an emergency vehicle needs to get to point X or whatever, then they already know ahead of time that this area will be blocked off. It's just the same way they do it for like parades or festivals. They can block off streets or whatever for a protest, but you cross a line when you riot and you destroy your own community. I don't understand how wanting social justice for an injustice that occurred, if you so believe that, and I don't understand how rioting, burning down, a gas station, looting a Walgreens. It's like, well, what's running out of a department store with a whole bunch of random stuff want to do to bring justice to what you feel is injustice? You understand what I'm saying? It's like when you riot and destroy stuff, it makes your side of the argument. It almost is. It's just so counterintuitive to just do something like that. It doesn't make sense to me. It's like you peacefully protest. You bring awareness to an issue. You don't riot and burn down stuff. You don't destroy property and destroy businesses. It's like what are the people that stuff you're destroying? What do they do to you that makes you want to do? It just upsets me that people can be like that. To want to take advantage of a situation. I can't stand that. But that's all I really gotta say. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to my opinion. If you disagree with me, tell me why in the comments below. Also, tell me how you guys think about the recent events in Ferguson. Is Michael Brown or Darren Wilson, like just tell me how you feel about the situation, and maybe we can get some discussion going. I'll comment back. So thanks for watching and have a nice day.